Are you ready for breakthroughs and bold moves? Well, I hope so. We have a bold person here in the studio with us today. We have David Morton. Hi, David.
How's it going, Brandon? Good to be here on the show, ready to be bold.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, especially for this insight, David, because we're talking about a Martian helicopter, and it makes history. NASA has flown a helicopter on Mars for 39 seconds, but why should we be excited about this, David?
Well, this really opens up a whole new door of space exploration and research for us. Being able to fly something like that on another planet means that we were able to make accurate predictions about things like gravity and atmospheric density, like how thick the air is, basically. We did those tests here on Earth, and then we were able to actually do the test flight on another planet, meaning that we were right, meaning that we could figure that out, meaning that we can now do things like do more research on what kinds of molecules are in the atmosphere of Mars, what the air is like, which will make things a lot easier for us if we're really preparing to send people there in the future.
And David, I'm sure it was not cheap to do that. So in our article, we also have an opinion piece talking about space exploration. But do you think that it's worthwhile to spend so much money on space exploration?
I do. Not just because I love space, but also because the research that's done in space and space exploration does trickle down into things in daily life. Like during the original space race in the 1960s, 1950s, right, there were a lot of things that were researched then that ended up becoming part of daily life, whether it's preservatives that are used to preserve food, right? Whether it's certain kinds of fabric, I think it's nylon or rayon, which was developed as part of the space program, which then went on to become this popular fabric used in women's clothing because of it's really stretchy, it holds color well, and there are a lot of things like that that ended up becoming great modern conveniences that were a result of money spent on space exploration.
And we don't always think about that. We don't see the practical implications. Well, we also talk about Austin, Texas, and how it could possibly become the next Silicon Valley. Do you think this will happen, David?
Well, I think it, just like the article says, really, it kind of depends upon who makes the move, right? Silicon Valley is expensive and saturated, and it's probably about time for there to be a new location. If the right people make that move down to Austin, Texas, and start establishing themselves well, then it's going to be chain migration, right? A lot of other companies will start moving down, and once
some have, right? Maybe
some
not to
have,
Austin. For example, Elon Musk is already in Texas, and we've talked about that as well.
That's right.
And so there are some people doing that. We'll see if it holds true that it will become the next Silicon Valley. We don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Well, David, thank you for joining us for this segment of Insights. Thank all of you for joining us as well. Be sure to check out our article for more details on all of these fascinating topics. We'll see you next time here on Insights.
Later on.